Okay, hey there. We're going to do some titles. It's title time. Okay, we got our video going on here. We've got some transition, some sound. Looks like I've got a couple of sound things here. We'll just get rid of that for a second. Okay, titles. You may have noticed up at the top there's a workspace here called titles. And if you click on it, it will rearrange your windows. And here is all your title windows, styles, properties, tools, and actions. The one thing I find about this is it's hard to use. Okay, do this. Go back to editing. Okay, or assembly. How about assembly? That one's the simplest. Okay, and I'm going to go here, title, new title, and I'm going to go default still. Okay, so it's going to call it title 1. Just leave it that. That's fine. Okay, click OK. All right. Now you're going to get this window. Okay, this is where we're going to build our title. But here's what we're going to do before we even do that. I'm just going to close it. But sir, you said we're making titles, okay? Let's do this. I'm going to pull this all the way back, okay? And if I go past my media browser to my project, here's title 1, okay? Drag it in, okay? I'm going to put it on the track above, all right? I'm going to double click, and here I am in the window for title 1, okay? You'll notice that when I brought it in, it was purple. Double click it, it's white. That means it's selected. In Premiere, anything that you click as white is selected. So double click. Here's our window. Okay, we got a couple tools here, type tool, etc. I'm just going to click, and this project is going to be called Mr. T's camera shots, or whatever we want to do. Okay, first thing is the default font here is AIGDT. Okay, not really sure what that means. So we're going to pick a font, and depending on your mood, depending on what you're doing, you want to pick an appropriate font. So I will go with Franklin Gothic Heavy. Okay, and I'm going to press enter to make sure that's it, and then I got to click back in this box so that that's flashing. See that flashing there? That needs to happen. This will be called Mr. T's camera. Whoopsie, can't spell. Camera Schultz. Okay, now you've got, if you want to change it, you can highlight it. You can change your font, so whatever you want. You know what? I'm not feeling so heavy today. I'm feeling bookish. I'm feeling demi. Okay, maybe it's one of those days you're like, geez, is this a Heitenschweiler day, or am I a hobo? Okay, so maybe today I'm a hobo. Okay, press a little enter. You've got some things here, medium, bold, italicized, etc. Okay, you can underline if you like. Your font size. Now, you can, if you double click, you can change the number here. However, I would just recommend that instead you click and hold and you scrub left or right to resize. Okay, same thing with your kerning. That's your space between the letters. Okay, scrub it, or you can double click to put in a number, but I just think the double clicking is much easier. Okay, oops, back to there. Okay, leading, that's your space between your lines. Okay, so you can modify that if you want. Okay, so we would click here and we can do our spacing there. Okay, now next, I can center justify, left justify, right justify. Okay, let's stick with some basics for now. Okay, so those are the properties, and they're all represented here in a lot of these things here, right? So got our position, all that. Let's suppose we want to move it. Okay, we change our tool from the type tool to the selection tool, and then you can click, you can move it where you want it. Okay, if you want to see it on screen, you can just move this dialog window and you can see where it's going to go. Perhaps I'll put it right in the middle. Okay, if you had it, I'm going to close it for a second. If you had the title on top of the video, then that is going to change your location. Okay, so if we go back again, then perhaps I want to have it down in the bottom corner. Okay, and you'll see it change there. Okay, we can also modify, of course, our font size, leading, kerning, tracking, all those things that were up here. Okay, let's continue down. So our fill, so currently it's white. Okay, so if you want it to be a different color, you could pick a red and it'll change it. Okay, now that's a solid color. You can also do this. let's suppose I do a gradient, and I can grade from maroon to, or red, or whatever it is, to a blue. Okay. Ooh, nice blue. Okay, so there we go. I've got a gradient. Looks pretty cool, eh? Or it could be from a, let's say a black to a, ooh, a nice fuchsia. Okay. Wow, look at that. Amazing. Okay, so we got our fill there. We have some other things, sheen, textures. Look at these strokes. Okay, outer stroke I think is a good one to use. If I'm going to add that, it's going to open up a window a little bit more down here. Okay, and it's giving me a little black stroke around the outside edge. If I want, I could change it to a white. Okay, and then of course I can change the size. Here it is here, and again we can, any blue number you can double click. Okay, or you can click and hold and scrub it bigger or smaller. Okay, you also have some other factors you can modify here. Is on the edge, depth, drop face. Okay, or you can also do a gradient. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to do a 4-color gradient on my stroke. Okay, no one's touching this after that. Oh, that's amazing. This is mind-blowing stuff, people. Okay, so I can change all 4 colors, and then I now have the coolest stroke of all time. Okay, cool. This may not be the best option because I think it's a little bit hard to read. So I would probably just go back to the solid and just have it as a light color there. Okay, good contrast. It pops out nice. Okay, you can also do a drop shadow if you'd like. So let's get our distance here. Okay, so you can see it starting to change there. Okay, you can change the color, opacity, the size. Okay, how big is this drop shadow going to be? Okay, one of the last things we can look at is the background. If I do enable the background, of course, because this title layer is on top, it is going to block off the video in the back. So in this current situation, I'm going to have no background. I'm not going to check it because I want to see this video here at the beginning. Okay. When I'm done, I can close it. Okay. If you had been in your media browser and you're not sure where your title is, it will now appear here in your project bin, your project folder. Okay. And again, you can stretch and squish this if you like. Okay. And you can also do your transitions. So let's suppose that you can right click and apply default transition here, and you can have this guy, whoopsie, I want red. There we go. Right click, apply default transitions, and now I've got a little nice crossfade. And in fact, I'm going to add a little transition for that. And watch this, mind blowing. Whoa, Mr. T's camera shots. Okay, not so great camera work. I didn't do the camera work. It wasn't my fault. Okay. Anyway, that's how you make titles. If you need to make more, then again, you can go back up to your title, add a new title, and make it go. Okay. All right. That's all for now. Ciao.